If you are suffering from a breakup, this video is for you. Watch it till the end because I'm going to explain the strategies I'm using as a counselor to help my clients feel better, to help my clients move on. Sometimes they need to move on, they need to let go of their relationship in order to regain and rekindle the relationship with the ex. I'll explain everything after the jingle.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
Before I start, I just want to remind you, if you're new to my channel, that I put together a quiz for you to know if you have any chance to get back with your ex. The idea is to give you clarity because perhaps you're heartbroken and you're still thinking about getting back with your ex. Perhaps that's a bad idea because your chances to get back with him or her are minimal or almost none. So you better know, rather than being hopeful that you can recover this relationship. Sometimes I am the bearer of bad news, but it's for your best interest. So have a look, take the quiz. It's totally free. And you get the results right away. It's in the comment, in the description. So what I'm going to talk to you is I'm going to use the terms of PTSD, post-traumatic syndrome disorder, because I do believe, and I see that in many of my clients, a breakup is traumatic. It's a traumatic experience, probably how you feel right now, and we're going to analyze what's going on and the sort of treatments, high-level overview of the treatment that people do, whether psychologists, therapists like myself, with people who have PTSD. So what happens in your head when you experience a trauma? It's very simple. We associate this event as danger and we want to stay away to avoid this problem. Let's say you have an elevator problem, you're stuck in the elevator, you're going to become claustrophobic. Maybe there was, a terrorist attack in the mall or something like that, and so therefore you are scared going in malls or where you have a lot of people. And it quickly becomes an obsession. It quickly prevents you from doing whatever you want because of that fear, because of those thoughts, those associations in your head. And what we usually do, we create this story. If something bad happened to me, I must have done something wrong. If my ex broke up with me, therefore, I must have done something wrong. If my ex broke up with me, therefore I am not good enough. If my ex broke up with me, therefore I need to analyze those 10 years that we've been together. And I need to, sometimes people will associate like, was I blind? Was my ex manipulating me? Was she or he having a double language? So how do you solve that? When you look back at your 10 years relationship and you think like, they decided to end this. And so there's thousands of experience, things that you said, you look back at those discussions very frequently. I hear from my clients, they tell me, yeah, but the weekend before, the months before, and they start to analyze, but they told me this a year ago, we've been there, last month we talked about that, and we replay the scenarios and we, keep our mind busy replaying those scenarios. And it's creating a sense of being overwhelmed, right? This is probably how you feel right now, and it's probably why it is so hard for you, because you're stuck. Your mind is stuck like a broken record, obsessing about those things. So what do we do about that? What I do with my clients, it's a situation analysis. I challenge my clients, and I want you to challenge yourself. When you have those thoughts, challenge what's an assumption. Challenge the fact whether you're not actually putting your ex on a pedestal. It's very common after a breakup, as we feel rejected, as we feel that we are losing value, we automatically, sort of almost mechanic, putting our ex on a pedestal. Because they think that They are better off without us. Therefore, we don't add value to their life, and therefore they're better, more valuable, whatever you see it in your head. The other important thing, you have to separate the context with the true nature of a relationship. Most of my clients, and 100% of the successful ones, are the ones where we have analyzed and assessed, and that's what I assessed in the quiz, that the problem with the breakup that led to the breakup is not about the compatibility, it's not about your values, but it's more about the context, more about things that happen in your life as we grow older, as we mature, as we, when we have kids. Perhaps I have clients where their parents got ill and that had a massive impact on their relationship. But that had nothing to do with my clients and their partners. Life events can have an impact, a negative impact on a relationship. And this is why it's so important to be able to discuss with someone, a therapist, a counselor, but really challenge your thoughts. You can try to do it on your own, and I would challenge you, if it's the first time you hear about those concepts, to take a piece of paper and write down your thoughts. Anytime, that's why I ask my clients, anytime they have those thoughts, they will write it down. And if there are clients, if they are WhatsApp clients, if I coach them on WhatsApp, I would ask them to use WhatsApp as a journal. And they would write down their thoughts. And we would interact on those thoughts, and I would challenge them on their thoughts. There's also something you need to be mindful of, is what we call the cognitive distortions. It's very classic from people who've been through traumatic experience. The way they see the world is different. And the way they see the world is framed in a way, again, is to avoid that danger. And so those behaviors that you would create to avoid that danger will also block great opportunities in your life. Will also block meeting a new person, falling in love. That's why it's very important for you to understand and perhaps take action from this video. If you feel stuck, you're heartbroken, but at the same time you try to date people, go on dating apps, but anytime you go on a date, it doesn't really work, it doesn't really click. Do those exercises, because you have to do that in order to let go, in order to move on, and be able to look at your date, your next partner in another way, and remove those filters that you've created because of that trauma. So those distortions are mind reading. Let's say you've got disappointed, cheated on by your ex-boyfriend, and now usually it's when you've had traumatic experiences like 1 or 2, then I can't trust men. All men are cheaters, right? The all or nothing. I will never be able to love anyone. You've dated 20 people in your life. Your last relationship was difficult. You're suffering. And what you do to prevent yourself from getting hurt is you say, I'll never be able to love anymore. But when you challenge those things, how can you say that you've dated 19 other people before? So it's really important for you to get that context, to understand that what your mind is doing is trying to protect yourself from a danger, a threat. The problem is exactly the same as people going through PTSD. Being agoraphobic or claustrophobic doesn't really help you living the life. It helps you preventing from situations that created that trauma. But in your day-to-day life, the probability that you're going to get an elevator accident or terrorist attack is quite minimal. Okay, it's easier said than done in this whole process to help people with PTSD, but the way it works is this. The catastrophizing, when I managed to say it properly, my life is over, I'm ruined. Again, this is a conception in your head. I don't know anyone who, after a breakup, felt like his life or her life was over. It's just part of your life. It's something that will build your resilience, that will also help you be more understanding, be more empathetic, helping you become a better lover, a better partner. Let's do it the other way around. If your life was easy, that would be boring, right? You want to build that complexity. Those scars are so important to build the person you are, to become more connected with people you meet, to grow, right? Because it's all about growth here. And this is an experience. This experience doesn't have to define you. This experience doesn't have to prevent you from doing whatever you want, from loving. It's an information, and with this information you can decide to learn, to grow, to become a better version of yourself. And that's what I do with my clients. We use those experiences, traumatic experience. I'm not gonna lie, it is traumatic. But we use those experiences as a catalyst for change, for growth. And that's why I love my job. It's because from a traumatic event, we can create something amazing. We can create variety of change in your life. And people, when they look back at the work we are doing and their experience and their breakup, they are in a way quite thankful that they had the opportunity to go through this. The other one, before I move on to the next slide, is the should have, could have, and I'm pretty sure we're all guilty of that. Looking in the past, reframing the world with could have, should have. Right now, it's really about the present and really about the future. When I speak and do sessions with my clients, probably the first 15-20 minutes of the session will be about the past, and then it's all about the present, it's all about the future. What are your goals? What do you want to achieve? How do you feel right now? What's going in your head? What can we do with that? How can we craft your life in a way that you are more energized, that you are spending time doing things that you love? All these aspects are future-oriented. The emotions are present. We don't care about the past. It's the best way as well to get to the acceptance stage of grieving. It's over. It's in the past. Now we look forward. Now we move forward. Another strategy, another technique, it's the constructive self-talk, and I use this from, it's classic for survival script. So people who survived terrorist attack or people who went to war. I should have. No, you should. That's not the point. You did the best you could at this point in time. You couldn't save your mate who died on the battlefield. You did the best you could. That's not your responsibility. I'm broken. No, you're not broken. You're changed. You're not broken. Saying you're broken is a conception, is how you decide to feel or to say that I'm broken. You're not broken, you're changed. You've learned. And you're stronger. That's a fact. When we go through those life experiences, we are stronger. That's a fact. Okay? It's so important, I'm going to repeat it. When you go through those traumatic experiences, we are stronger because we know more. Now the question is whether you embrace those things and take those things with you to grow and learn, or whether you suffer those things and you're passive and you feel that you don't have control. You have control. You have control about your emotion, you have control on your thoughts. And my job as a counselor is to help you gain the skills to regain control. It's also something that I do in hypnotherapy sessions as well, is how you can regain control of all those unconscious thoughts. I'm weak. No, you're not weak, you survived. You're not weak, you survived. Okay? So as I said, breakups are traumatic. And everyone, I can't find a study, but everyone in his life will face this traumatic event. What you're going through is probably not your first breakup. And I've felt really bad in past breakups. Not necessarily the most recent one, but when I was younger. And it was traumatic. I couldn't leave my house. I was crying like a baby. I felt my life was over. And it could happen to anyone. at any stage in your life, whether you're divorced, whether you have kids, whether it's your third marriage, whether it's your first boyfriend or girlfriend, it can happen to anyone. So don't be ashamed of that, because I think there's also some stigma and stigma around this. Don't be ashamed and find the right people, the right support to talk with, because it's so important to discuss those topics. It's so important if you want to take a step back or step on the side and really assess and understand whether it's context, whether it's the stories you're telling yourself. It is so important. There's something I do believe, and that's the main message of this video, is I do believe in the power of community. And I do believe that out there, you don't have, I feel, you don't have robust, caring, and empowering community out there to help people going through breakups. People who are heartbroken, people who can't really let go. And I know for people it takes months, even years to move on, to be able to date people, to be able to let go, to feel confident that they can still love, that they can still be attractive. And I want to use this video to ask you if you want to join. I want to create a small group of people, because I don't believe this would work if we have thousands of people on a Facebook group. But I want to create a small group of people and use those same mechanisms, but use it in a way where we work as a team to help you feel better, to use this experience, this trauma, and bring you to a place where you feel better. So in order to know if you want to join, I would love for you to comment on the below the video and let me know if you're interested to join such a community. The group would be 10 to 15 people max, but the idea is to have this sort of support, because I think as my community is growing, I don't really have time to do a lot of one-to-one, but I don't want to do only online content. I want to do coaching. So I know there's out there, you're probably suffering from that breakup and struggling to move on, watching videos, trying to learn, but still you don't understand, still you won't answer, still you know he or she betrayed you, you know this relationship is toxic, but you can't let go. So if you want some help and if you want to work with me and with a bunch of like-minded people, please comment on the video so I know that I will have enough people to create this program that I will probably launch in a month or two. The sooner you treat this, the faster you'll be able to live your life. That's the promise, and that's what happens when I do my one-to-one with my clients. I accelerate the process. And I really hope that I'll be able to help as many people as possible with this new sort of community. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
igetmyexback.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.